One of the first concepts we had throughout the year was this idea that if there was no rules, no laws, no government, if we were living on a desert island, what would happen if there was no authority whatsoever? We came to the conclusion that it would definitely be difficult. People would probably fight each other. People might be naturally selfish, want to look out for themselves. And in Thomas Hobbes' view, he would call that a state of nature. No government, people are constantly going to be fighting, really brings out the worst in people.
Okay, Hobbes also was one of the first to come up with this concept of a social contract. And basically what he thought is that people give up rights and power to the government, and in exchange for that, the government would provide protection, and they would protect against this constant warfare that typically happens in a state of nature.
One of the first images we looked at throughout the year was this book cover called Leviathan. And we did a primary source activity, looking at the cover, trying to figure out what Hobbes wanted to communicate to people who read this book. And his argument in the book is that if you have a strong ruler, a powerful ruler, as the illustration shows, that's the only person that can prevent warfare. That's the only person that creates order and stability in society. So, people are going to agree to have this government, but once you have it, that's it. A strong ruler lays down the law, and you can't change it.
Okay, one of the other philosophers we discussed was John Locke. And one of his ideas was the concept of the Tabula Rasa. And that means that the mind is a blank state, and that at birth you basically fill your life with certain experiences, and those experiences shape who you are as an individual. But he also thought that we share a human nature that is the same for everyone, and this laid the foundation for his later concept of natural rights theory.
Locke has a different view. He thought, look, people when they're born, they have certain things. And those can be life, liberty, and property. We're all born with these. You don't buy them somewhere. Everyone has these rights, he believes, and government plays a role in that.
Okay, and government's role, according to Locke, is not just to keep order, but it's also to protect natural rights. And this is where he deviates a bit from Hobbes, is that where Hobbes was more concerned about control and order, Locke was more concerned with the idea of government protecting those natural rights of life, liberty, and property.
Also in Locke's idea, if we're going to enter into this social contract, we're giving up absolute freedom to do whatever we want, but that's because we all share this idea that we want our rights protected, and the government's role is to protect those natural rights.
The second part of his social contract theory is the idea that if the government fails to protect your rights, you have the right to revolt. Okay, now in an undemocratic system, that would actually mean a violent revolt against or a takeover of government. However, in a modern system of democracy, the right to revolt is translated into voting, and then just voting elected officials out of office, and then redoing that social contract with new representatives.